Hi, I'm Keiko at Wisteria Surrey Ranch, and today I am going to show you how to make these very easy, cute little pandas. And just a quick update, my website is actually now at myalpacafarm.com. My wisteriasurreyranch.com was supposed to forward properly to myalpacafarm.com, but tech gremlins got it, and so it's not forwarding properly for a while now. And so please go directly to www.myalpacafarm.com if you are going to be looking for the free pattern that I will be making available for this cute little panda. So I'm going to do a few, hopefully, sort of like an easy, quick, instant gratification type of projects. So please be on the lookout for them. Okay, so this is it. So this is a free pattern that you can get at my website. I'll put all the information in the links directly to the page that will have this. It will be at myalpacafarm.com, and then it'll be under like the tutorials, and then each tutorial page will have like the video embedded, as well as like a little button that will allow you to download this for free. You don't have to sign up for anything. You just click the button and you'll get a PDF and you can print it out. So free pattern available. And I do have other free patterns available at my website. I think there's like a poodle, a baby penguin, reindeer, can't remember, but anyway. So let me go over the materials first. You'll need a little foam or a regular size foam and some needles. And you only need about point 0.11 to 0.14 ounce, or 3 to 4 grams. And everything's written on here, so if it's easier for you to see. And this white wool, just so I can explain, because this is meant for beginners. If you're advanced but like to do a cute fun project, just listen to me like on 2 times speed or something so you can just get everything. There are different kinds of wool, and this one is actually from, I just sort of took a little piece. It's a wool bat, B-A-T-T. It just comes off a drum carder as like a big sheet of wool, and these are usually shorter, crimpier wool that's really easy to felt. So these are really great. Sometimes these more, they're also called like core wool for needle felting, and sometimes it's a little bit of an off color, or not always super clean. They might have more vegetative matter, because a lot of people use this to be on the inside, and they'll cover it with a different fiber. So this core wool bat that I use is actually quite nice and clean, so I've been able to use this on the surface. I think my bear tutorial uses this too, like the regular bear with the little hands and feet. You can also use more like a merino or any other kind of roving. So roving kind of comes more in ropes. I know these two actually look really similar, right? Well, maybe not. They may look similar because I've sort of cut this bat into a strip. But wool bats generally come off what's called a drum carder, which aligns the fiber. So it comes off usually in bigger sheets, or if it's like a home drum carder, it's the width of the little drum. So you might need to look up drum carder and see what I'm talking about there. Roving is one step further down the line in terms of, so you might get like a wool bat, and then what they do is they pull it through, I believe, another layer, so it's more like a rope, a thick wool rope. These are usually more aligned, and roving is generally for spinners, so they basically take this and start spinning yarn on a spindle or a wheel like that, and so that's kind of why it's a lot more organized and nice. You can still use this for needle felting, and you can use this more on the surface. Usually this is going to be a little more expensive than your core wool, so you can use both. So anyway, you'll need 3 to 4 grams, or 0.11 to 0.14 ounce of white wool of any kind. You can usually get things to work. And your little panda, so this amount is going to make a panda that is going to be about 2 inches or about 5 centimeters long, and then like you can kind of eyeball that for me. Okay, and then all you need, and I love this because now you just only need 2 colors, is just some black. You don't need a whole lot because you can see it doesn't use a whole lot of black. Okay, so I will do a close-up so you can see my hands better. So what I'm going to do, and you can, like I said, you can use the bat or the wool roving, whichever works for you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine it. So I'm going to use the core wool on the inside, and then I'm going to put this more of a nicer aligned, finer, actually it's a finer and a more lighter white color. I can't remember if it was merino or there's a couple different ones that you can get. Merino's just the type of sheep and generally nice and fine. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I kind of got similar size, kind of weighed it, got about 0.14 ounce or closer to, I think, 4 grams. What I'm going to do is I'm going to layer it. So the outside, when I wrap it, the outside is going to be the nicer white, and then I can have the core wool on the inside. But again, you don't need to buy both to do this, just whatever you've got, but if you happen to have both. Okay, so I am going to do a close-up and be right back. Okay, so I've got my white, and really it's for the whole body, but if you want to leave a little bit of the white for the eyes out and you don't have any other white fiber, you can just pull some of it out of the way for later. So I'm just going to put that over there. Okay, so the first step, yeah, good, is to basically just roll it into a little sausage. So you're just going to, so I've got my more core fiber on the inside if you're going to do it with a layer style. If not, it's just one fiber, so it doesn't really matter. And you're just going to kind of roll it like a little sausage, like that. And nice and tight, and that'll make it so that you don't have to poke as much, which makes it faster. Okay, so here we go. And then just going to take this, place it on any little foam, and I'm going to first poke the seam where it kind of came together. I'm not sure, can you see okay? Let me try. Well, this one's working better. So I usually have like the super standard 38 gauge needle, and these are felted needles, so they are barbed. And usually I think the triangular one is the cheapest one. So I usually buy the cheapest one. They actually don't break as often as you would think. So I don't know, in the many years I've maybe broken 2 or 3, so you actually don't need that many. Okay, so you can see where I'm poking, it's getting tighter. So once I feel like that's going to, so now it's not going to fall apart on me, which is really good and easy to work with. And watch your fingers. I'm going to keep poking all the way around. So all I'm doing is poking it in straight. And you just want to make sure that the foam, you're holding the needle in a way where you're looking at how much this goes in. Let's see, can I show you that? Okay, so really the barb part is right here. I'm holding it here, and then you just want to make sure that however deep you go, you're not going to hit the table or any other hard surface. That's really the only way you'll break your needle. I've bent a needle that I still use. Yeah, but you can still use it. Okay, and as you can see, I'm not like shoving it that hard. I'm paying attention to any resistance, although there shouldn't be any because we're not using any wire or anything else. Just pay attention to the direction you're poking and where your fingers are. Okay. And so I went all the way around, and I'm doing this all in real time. So if you want to speed it up, just speed it right up. And hear me sound like a little chipmunk. Okay, so then you go on the side like this at an angle. Again, pay attention to the angle and keep your fingers away. So it does felt pretty quickly, as you can see. Just poking. Wherever you poke, it's just going to go tighter and tighter and smaller and smaller. Am I drifting here? Okay. And so there's 38 gauge. That's your all-purpose needle. It usually works for almost all projects. As you can see, my needles aren't marked. I just feel most of them are probably 38. I'm not 100% sure. And then I just use, so, okay, I think you saw me do this, and I'm like, it maybe it's just the brand, I don't know. That one wasn't feeling good and it wasn't poking and connecting well. So I just use whatever feels good. I usually have, let me show you. I usually have some needles, multiple needles around. Okay, that one wasn't working, so I'm just gonna put it over here. So just, so you know, so 36 gauge is for coarser. It's a thicker needle. It's for coarser wool. It's going to poke bigger holes, but it will make your project go a little faster. Most projects I do with 38 gauge, probably the triangular, whichever one is easiest and cheapest to get. And then I usually, because I have Surrey alpacas, I usually use the 40 gauge because that's for finer fibers. And so if something's not like poking in or sticking in, you're probably not using the right or the best gauge needle. So you just change it up. So this one's working really well, which means the fineness of the fiber and your needle is a good match. Okay, so it's not that, you know, if something's not coming together, it's not your fault. It's never your fault. It's probably the wrong needle for the wrong, for the wool that you have. So the super, well, let me see. Yeah, so if it's working and you're able to get it felting like this, then you've got the right needle for the right gauge. And sometimes, like, you just have to try it. That's why none of my needles are marked. Actually, no, it looks like one of them has a little pink on top. So you can actually take some, like, if you have any, I think I actually had to buy some nail polish for it, but you can put, like, nail polish, oops, sorry, like, I don't know if you can actually see it, but this one has a little bit of pink. I think this one was the finer one because it looks like I bent it to, I don't know if you can see it. But you can just put a little bit of nail polish if you want to identify, like, you know, this one's a little finer or something, and when you buy it, it's not marked. Okay. All right, so now we got the little sausage shape. And then you can use your size guide, and this is for reference point only. It doesn't, oh, let me see, there. It doesn't have to be exact, so let's see. Okay, so I made it a little bigger. So you can do one of two things. If it's a little bigger, you can just keep felting to make it smaller, or you can go, well, I just want a bigger panda and not worry about it. So I'm going to just tighten it up a little bit more. And as I tighten, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to figure out which side is a little bigger. So let me see. I think this side's a little bigger. So I'm going to make that the rump end for my little panda. And so as I'm going to sort of shrink it down, I'm going to start shaping it a little bit. So I'm going to be real careful to not go this way. Like, I'm not going to needle felt in like this way because they'll make it sort of skinny. I'm going to push it in this way to kind of make it even more like rump-like. And you can see just like by, I'm not doing a whole lot, but see how much it's shrinking in size? Okay. Yeah, it's pretty quick. So I'm just going to, okay. There. You can get so lost in your own little world doing this. I have to sometimes check back and make sure I'm still centered or somewhat centered in the camera. Okay, So I'm shaping the rump here. I don't know if you can see. Okay, and then I see this bottom part needs to be a little bit more poked in. Okay, that looks pretty good. Another way you can do it is you can always use your fingers and sort of push it or move it around a little bit. Okay, and then you can already start to see the shape. So now I'm going to, since I want the face to be a little more pointy forward like this, I'm going to sort of, okay, let's see. Okay, so this is the front one side. I'm going to be poking at an angle so that I can start shaping it more. Just watch your fingers. Okay, do you kind of see? It's easier to see from the top actually. Let me see if I can show you the top. So you just saw me doing this. Oh, okay. This side. So this side is the one I was poking in. Let me see if I can show you a little bit. I'm not sure it's really showing well on the... Okay. And then what I'm going to do is... let me try it with this felting position. Okay. So see how I'm just kind of going at an angle to sort of make it a little more narrow on the head part to shape it. Probably gonna go a little too much. Okay, sorry, I think my hands were covering it again. Okay, again, got a little lost there. Okay, so now let's see, where am I here? Okay, that's good. Okay, then this part, yeah, here, shows you kind of where to start poking to get the shape a little bit. So between the head and the rest of the body, this way, right there. I'm gonna start poking there. I'm also going to start poking the face down a little bit so that it's gonna look cute. Okay, so let me do the head and neck area. So I'm going to poke here, sorry. Okay, so you just go all the way around. This is where I'm going to be putting the little black line, so you can actually poke it further when we put in the black wool. But I'm just going to start poking that down. And you'll be able to clearly see where I did that, right? Yeah. And now just a little more cleanup. So I don't want like this just big line, so I'm going to smooth it out by poking kind of like a little bit like this. I don't know if you can, yeah, sort of shaping it to make it a little smoother. So kind of angle here, angle here. Yeah, I'm doing the same on this side. So as I'm poking this, I'm also sort of making it so it's like a little smoother, so kind of like a curve. Okay. All right. Hopefully it makes sort of some sense. It's more of like something like if you're doing it, you'll start to get a feel for it because wherever you poke, it goes down. So that's how you start shaping it. Okay. It's not quite as straight. Okay, and then I want to make this part a little lower so that you can see this bit here, so it's a little more pointy. So I'm going to just, yeah. So I'm just going to poke. Let me see if it's easier to see in the front. Just like that. Okay. So now I'm just going to sort of clean it up and just know we're going to add other little black colors and it'll all come together. Okay. So, and just so you know how to fix things as you do this. So let's say this part's really uneven and I'm like, not super happy with that. Then all you have to do, hopefully you've saved a little bit or you have more wool. Okay, hopefully you're a little bit more addicted to wool, so you got a whole bunch of wool on the side. Okay, so you can just, I'm just making it like, let me see, I'm just going to, it's a little hard to use like fluffy wool on small areas, so I like to kind of pre-felt it with my hands, just kind of more like a flat this way movement, like this. And that actually flattens and sort of pre-felts your wool fibers together. Suri does this really well. Finer fibers will do this better. The core wool is a little harder to do this with, but core wool, you can get little pieces a little more easily. So, okay, so we got this. And then wherever you don't have enough, you can add like that. See? All of a sudden it's like nice and smooth. So let me see if I can just add that in. And if that piece was too big, you can just make it a little smaller. Okay. So that's just a way you can add wool. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna have to tidy it up for a second. I don't know if you can hear my guinea fowl outside. They make a lot of noise. Yep. They're cool birds though. A little crazy. Crazy cool. Okay. So again, if you don't like that little line, if I had a little bit more, like if I was doing this off camera, I might add a little bit more. Or here's another way you can sort of loosen it up so that it blends better. Oh, that's a good technique to show you, actually. You're gonna be a pro after you finish this panda. Okay, so yeah, you can do it like that. And then that will get rid of the line, because I might have pre-felted it a little too much. So you can't really ever make a mistake on needle felting because it's so easy to add or take it off and poke again. So how are we doing here? How are you doing here? Okay, all right, so I'm gonna say this is good enough for the base shape. And now the fun part, we get to add all the fun colors. One little thing I will tell you, which will always make it easier in the future, great technique, wherever you plan to do the eyes, so I'm gonna have to look at this to do it, and then I'll show you. Wherever you want the eyes, if you sort of dent it down and poke it down, that's actually really, really helpful. It helps you kind of see where you're gonna have your eyes, and since the eyes help make the felted animals come to life, it's kind of fun and exciting. Okay, so let me see, is that, and it doesn't have to be exact at this point, but just so you can sort of have that area dented down. Okay, I think you can see it. Let me see. Yeah, I think you can see it, right? There we go. Cool. Okay, so let me continue. I'm going to do the little thing here. There's no order, really. You can do it however you want, but I'm just gonna put, let's see. I actually like to sort of pre-felt. It makes it easier for me to handle the fleece and fiber. So I'm just gonna go like that, make it go. So I'm gonna wrap it here like this. Ooh, I did the right length. And then I'm gonna poke here. So it will stay like that, see? Okay, and then it's a little easier to kind of poke the rest in. Okay. Yeah, I think the black wool, you can really use anything. You're not using a whole lot. I think mine is Suri alpaca, but usually Suri's not as easy to work with, and you usually need a finer gauge, but I think this was a combo. I might have mixed it with some other like wool. Okay, so now I'm going to do the rump and the tail. I don't know, can you see? Yeah, so I just did a little patch on the back. So again, I'm just going to take a little bit of the black, and you can probably like fold it a little bit. You can fold it, or you could just pre-felt it with your hands. And then you got this little thing here. Oh, that's cute. Okay, so I'm going to put that here. And then I'm first going to just do the outline like that. Okay, so whoops, I did the outline, and then I'm just going to make sure that everything's secured in. There we go. Okay, is that straight? Good. Okay, so that's coming together nicely. Okay, and then we're going to do a little tail. So we're just going to make a little pom-pom. I don't know, maybe that's too much. You don't need much, but I'm going to now this one I'm going to roll super gently. As you saw my hand, I'm not doing this kind of rubbing. It's more of a nice sort of round, easy. Okay, a little faster. Okay, so there's a ball. I'm gonna go even tighter now. So that was, got the basic ball going. Okay, see how it keeps getting felted smaller and smaller? Gonna do now a little bit more. Okay, oh, that's feeling perfect. There we go. Okay, so at this point, you technically could poke it and make it into a tighter, better ball, but I am actually just going to put this in. Again, I'm going to do the outside, poke around the outside. Okay, so I'm poking around the outside. And then since I want to keep the tail nice and round and fluffy, I'm not going to poke this in unless it's too loose, but this one felted nice enough. Another option, if it's a little loose, you can like go like super mini motion like that, so that you're just sort of tucking it in. See how it's super light touch, very light, just kind of helping shaping it and keeping it there. There. Okay. So, how are you doing so far? So exciting. Okay. Let's see. Should we do the nose or the ears? Let's do the ears. Okay, so when you do the ears, in all of this, I do have, oh, there we go. There we go. All the little sort of rough size guide based on kind of proportions and whatnot, but you know, you can have bigger ears, whatever you want. The key though, when you have anything of something like the ears, you want it to be the same size. So you would want to like kind of pull 2 bits. Okay, let's see. So I'm actually pulling 2 bits. That one looks like there's going to be a little more fiber. I'm not sure. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to move over a little one. Okay, so there are different ways you can make your ears. I'm actually just going to roll that up like this to first get kind of like this shape. Okay. And then I'm going to just I'm going to poke the center, okay? Not the sides yet, because I want to just get rough idea on the shape. And then I'm gonna do the same, since I know I'm gonna need 2 of the same size. So this is probably the hardest part, trying to get like the 2 same exact, or same, you know, close to the same size. Okay, so I'm just doing just the center. So you see how these edges, these edges are still, I'm not sure you can see that, fluffy. I'm just securing the center so the piece stays together. Then I'm going to just, okay, so from here, I'm gonna want to fold it. Okay, so I'm gonna fold it. So now you can kind of see, and then I'm gonna just make sure it's around the right size. So I'm looking at my, okay, I'm looking, okay, that's pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to fold this. And the part where it's going to attach to the head, you can leave fuzzy, okay? So we're just working on that top rounded ear part. Okay, so let me just do that. And you can keep practicing making it several times, or you can also get like felt and cut ear shapes if that's a little easier. It's not cheating. You can do that. Just cut a little piece of black felt. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Okay, so you know how I like to rub stuff in this. It just kind of secures it. So, okay. All right, and then I'm gonna do the other one and see if I can get it to match. Okay, hold on, I wanna fold it this way. This one's harder to fold. This one might be a little smaller, I'm not sure. Oops. Okay, so I'm just poking. There we go. Okay. Ah, looks really cute. Okay, so you see how it, like, it's a little fuzzy. You can just, there we go. Better. Can always poke from the other side too. Just poke lightly so you're not pushing it to the other side. Okay. All right. How did I do? Pretty good, actually. All right, so we're going to now poke that in. So you know how I said when we fold, okay, let me see if I can get it really close. When I folded it in, I was doing this side and trying to make this nice and round while I kept this part a little fuzzy, because this is the part I'm going to poke into the head of the panda. And when it's loose like this, it's going to be easier to felt in, okay? So, like that. Okay, I'm going to have to look at where the ears might go in the wrong place. So I'm going to look. I'm going to poke both ends first. Hold on. That way I can show you. Okay, so what I did was I poked this end and this end to position it. And I'm like, okay, that feels pretty good. Then what we're going to do is you're going to want to make sure that you get, sorry, you're poking in on the front of the ear and then the back. So now I'm going to hold it and poke it in really gently in the back of the ear. So you're going all the way around the ears, okay? Okay. Okay, so next one. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to position. Okay, let me just position it. Okay, so I positioned it, this one. And then now I'm going to go on the front side, tuck it all in. Go on the back side, tuck it all in. Ooh, hard to see, sorry. Okay. Okay, I think that's gonna work. How's that? Looks cute. Okay, so now let's do the nose. Okay. So I'm just taking a little bit and I'm going to roll it. Sometimes you have to try a couple times. Now there is a little pattern for the nose too. So for the nose, because we want it to be a little bit more triangular, I'm going to go like this and sort of roll it going this way to sort of squish it. Like that. Now that looks a little big, but let's see. It's okay. So see, kind of like this, and then you go, okay, oh, sorry, is that too big? I don't know, let me see. Now when you poke it in, it might get smaller, so I'm gonna poke it in, and I'm gonna have to do this however I can so that I don't poke my finger. Let me see. So again, I'm gonna secure the top first, and then check position before I do a really full. Okay, so I've only gotten the top part in. That looks okay. So then I'm gonna go center bottom. And then as you do this, since I want it to be triangular more, I'm going to be poking it in at an angle very slightly like this. So this is the side that's already being poked in, and you can kind of see the angle, right? And then this side is still super fluffy, so now I'm gonna poke in. Okay, sorry, hard angle. Okay, so I don't know if you can kind of see it. It's probably looking silly. Let me see. How are you looking, Bear? You're looking mighty cute. Okay, so now you can see it's still poking out because I'm sort of taking care of the edges and trying to make that shape correctly. So now I'm going to poke in from the top to flatten the nose while I'm going to shape this as well. So I'm going to want to, I'm poking now from the top down a little bit like this. I'm going to have to just show you because I can't do it without looking. So I'm poking it in down like this to sort of really clean that line up. And then let me see what I need to do. Poke, 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 poke. Now I'm just sort of flattening the top that's poked out. Okay. And you can take your time to just, you know, play with that. They do also have little plastic nose and stuff. Be careful with whatever glue you use. I managed to glue my finger or get all that crazy glue on my fingers. It was kind of scary yesterday, so just be careful. Okay, so let me see how it's looking. Okay, so here you go. So I could probably spend a little bit more time, but I'm gonna keep going. That's good enough for me. Okay, so now let's do the, actually this one's a little better. Oops, there we are. Okay, so we're gonna do that first black. So this is like, well, this one is 3 layers. So you've got the black, and then you got the white, and then the little black part on the eyes, like this. This one actually has, I think this one's got more expression. So it's got the black, the white, the black, and then the reflection with a little bit of white on top. So you can make your eyes however you want, but let me see if I can show you the first layer. Oh, where am I going? Here we are. Okay. So this is in a little bit of a teardrop shape. So I'm going to try and get 2 similar size, and I'm just going to pre-felt it a little bit so it's a little easier to manage and gauge the size. Okay, so that's probably about right. So then I'm going to sort of get the rough area, and you want this to be a bit of a teardrop shape so it's a little easier to work with. So okay, I'm gonna say that's gonna work for me. Let me get the other one real quick. Okay. Oh, wrong way. Okay, here. So I'm just sort of eyeballing it, eyeballing the eyeballs. And let me position this by looking at it. So we got a cute little guy here. And oh my goodness, right? The eyes really make a big difference. So spend time figuring out, you know, and trying different ways to do the eyes. Changing the size up a little bit, the position, the angle, all of that can make a difference. So I usually spend a lot on the eyes. Let me show you the one side. And again, since this is more of a tutorial to show you how, I'm really just going with my first best shot. unless it's really bad, then I can't help it. So and then you can also learn how I fix stuff, which is probably helpful too, right? Okay. You just keep talking, don't I? I can talk to myself all day. Yes, no, I'm talking to you. Pandas like me? No, I'm talking to the beautiful people watching the video. Okay, sorry you're not seeing this, but I will show you in just a minute. Okay, so far that's what I got, okay? Looks pretty good. It's starting to look really a lot like a panda. So again, play with the size, the different angle. The teardrop actually works probably the easiest. It's one of my more fail-proof ways of doing this panda. So you got the more of the pointy in the top and then bottom. You can kind of see it here. Oh, there you go. Okay, and let me get a little bit of the white. Okay, so I got a little bit of the white. So this is going to have to be slightly smaller than the one I just did to go on top. Okay, so I'm again just doing the same process, trying to make it as even as possible. Uh-oh. Okay, so my finger did not roll very well. Okay. Okay, you guys all here? Okay. Let's see. And then you usually want to look and see if they're about the same size. Okay, this is not about the same size. So again, very easy to fix. I'm taking the bigger one, pulling a little piece off, moving it off to the side, and trying again. Roll, 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 and double check. Okay, I like, ooh, wait, there it is. Okay, that looks fine. So now that they're a little rolled, I'm going to have to sort of pull it back out again, right? There we go. So I'm just trying to make it so that it's going to be small. I'm sorry, let me just put this on there real quick. So I'll show you the one side. All I did was I sort of stretched it and then I'm poking it in. Okay, can't see very well. Okay, so this is the white of the eye, so I don't know, I might have to adjust it, but right now that's what it looks like. Let's see, and again you can, oh sorry, I'm going to sort of flatten this out a little bit so I can poke it in easier. Okay, ooh, come on. Okay. Ah, okay. Alright, so I'm just gonna poke it in. Not sure you can see it at this angle, probably not. Now if you have, like, you do two and like they're uneven, you can look and see which one you like better. You might just have to put the black eyeballs in to see which one looks better, but you can look at this. Okay, so just for example, I'm gonna leave it different like this, and then we can put the little black balls in and see which one we like, and then I'm going to adjust both to look the same. Okay, so I'm going to take a tiny little pinch. Now this is the black of the eye at the very top without the reflection so far, so I'm gonna roll, 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 roll. Okay, and then I'm going to just put it at the very top corner here, so I'm gonna go ahead and poke it in. First eye in, roughly. Okay, and then I'm gonna do the other one. Oops. Hold on. Okay. It's good this is a close-up of like the actual like thing versus like my face, and it's like I probably have my mouth all wide open trying to focus. Probably not a very good look. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I did it different sizes, and you can kind of go, which one do I like? and then you can match it. See? So now in this case, I think, ooh, I don't know which one I like. So just so you can, some quick tips. If you like this side and you like more white, you can just add a little bit of white underneath the other eye, okay? If you don't like the white being too big, then what you can do is you can poke it in further. That's one way. If that doesn't work, you may have to take the eye off and try it again. So let me just see what I want to do about this. Okay, I'm actually going to go in the middle. So what I'm going to do, I'm not sure you can see, I'm actually going to take the white of the big one. I'm going to shrink it up a little bit by poking it further in and tightening it up, okay? Just so you can see how to troubleshoot or sort of make adjustments. Okay, so that one's a little smaller. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a tiny bit of white to this. So I'm actually fixing both eyes. I'm going to bring it back into kind of balance or more towards the center, so not one or the other, okay? So I just did a tiny little piece of white, and then I'm just poking it in. I'm sorry if it's hard to see. Okay. Yay, okay. So I see my clock's about to run out, so I'm just going to finish it here. And there's your little panda. I hope you enjoy the tutorial. Don't forget to go grab your free pattern and make a whoop. I'll put the link below. Thanks for watching. It's one of those days. Thanks for watching. Bye.